Why do breakups hurt so much? Reasons we struggle after a relationship ends. Breakups are often devastating, even when no abuse or toxicity was involved. It's a painful human experience almost all of us endure. Examining the many valid causes can help normalize the anguish. You have suffered. A major loss. Romantic relationships provide companionship, affection, intimacy, belonging, stability, future plans, identity, and more. Losing your primary attachment figure means losing all of this in one blow. Grief is inevitable. Your brain perceives separation as a threat. Evolution has wired our brains to experience breakups as traumatic. On a primal level, your nervous system protests the loss of your safe haven and source of security. Clinging to the familiar feels safest. Your identity has been challenged. Couples shape each other's senses of self. Suddenly becoming single again means shedding aspects of your identity, which can feel destabilizing. Rebuilding who you are now takes time. Your hopes and dreams have been shattered. With serious relationships, you likely envisioned shared goals and dreams for your future together. When partnerships end, these imagined futures abruptly die too. This painful loss is mourned. You've lost daily companionship. Even if the romance faded, the friendship and sharing everyday experiences together fulfilled core needs. Missing this steadfast companion is incredibly lonely. You crave their validation and intimacy. Even exes you've grown apart from know you intimately and profoundly impacted your life. Losing your bond and that sense of being deeply known leaves a hole. You may feel regret and blame yourself. Replaying your mistakes and wondering, what if I had done things differently, is common. Heartbreak can plunge us into shame and self-blame before rational thought intervenes. Rejection feels catastrophic. Our inner child interprets abandonment to mean we're unlovable and worthless. Intellectually, you know this isn't true, but the emotional sting persists. It's natural to struggle after a breakup for these valid reasons. Give yourself permission to fully mourn the immense loss. You're grieving the death of hopes, dreams, and aspects of your life now gone.
Why do the feelings come in waves? After a breakup,
the grief following a breakup is seldom linear. More often, it comes in unpredictable waves, anguished one moment, hopeful the next. What causes this? We cycle through the stages of grief. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance come and go non-linearly, one stage blending into another before we circle back again. Triggered. Memories. Bring emotions. Rushing back. A song, scent, or location will unexpectedly unlock a flood of memories from the relationship, intensifying pining. Then the moment passes. Our minds try to avoid constant, acute pain. After an initial intense grieving period, our psyche naturally tries to adapt by taking mental breaks from acute heartbreak. The pain later sneaks up again. We have good days and bad days. Daily fluctuations in energy, stress levels, loneliness, and thought patterns impact our emotional state. The waves reflect how we're handling heartbreak that day. We have moments of strength and vulnerability. There are windows when we feel clear-headed, strong, and ready to move forward. Then moments of weakness where hope dies and pain washes over us again. We rapidly switch between mindsets. 1 minute, we're firmly rooted in a rational, philosophical mindset. The next, consumed by emotional reactivity and dramatizing. Jarring. The brain is wired to avoid constant suffering. Give yourself grace when joy unexpectedly arises amidst the pain. And when anguish returns, know it will pass as well.
Why do I cry continuously after a breakup?
Endless crying after a breakup alarms many, but it serves an important purpose: emotional release. Here's why it persists. Powerful neurochemicals are involved. Brain chemicals like dopamine plummet abruptly once a bond is severed, creating withdrawal-like symptoms. Tears help purge these disrupted neurochemicals. Suppressed sadness is finally released. Many unconsciously hold back tears in relationships to avoid conflict. Once separated, there's freedom to fully vent this pent-up sadness. Grief comes in waves. Crying spells ebb and flow. Tears may suddenly burst forth as another wave of grief surfaces before subsiding again. It's the body's coping mechanism. Crying activates the parasympathetic nervous system, spurring calm and relief. Sobs flush out surging, overwhelming emotions so we don't drown in them. Ruminating fuels. More tears. Replaying the relationship and breakup in your mind continues triggering sadness. Each time you lapse into rumination, the tears flow again. It's a means of expression. For many, crying provides a powerful catharsis. The tears give voice to intense emotions that feel boiling over inside. They must be released. Certain neurotypes are more prone. If you have high sensory sensitivity, you're likely wired for intense, tearful reactions as you process and purge emotions. Tears are your psyche's way of detoxifying from the relationship. Let them flow freely rather than judging yourself. The grieving process dictates its own timeline. Why does the pain from a breakup come in waves? It's common to feel ambushed by intense anguish out of nowhere post-breakup, even after time has passed. Why does grief come in waves? Your brain is trying to protect you. To avoid constant acute suffering, your mind gives you intermittent breaks from the painful reality. Then waves of heartache force you to face it. Triggers reignite the pain. Coming across mementos, hearing certain music, visiting meaningful locations. Triggers reignite memories, setting off another round of intense heartbreak. Daily fluctuations. Impact mood. On exhausted, lonely, or stressed days, you'll be more emotionally flooded. Good days make the loss feel farther away. You cycle through stages of grief. You leap between denial, anger, bargaining, sadness, and acceptance. Each stage manifests at different times, intensifying specific emotions. Loss is hard to absorb. Even when expected, loss takes time to fully register in the mind. The implications sink in gradually, which can unexpectedly reopen wounds. Time doesn't heal as expected. People assume pain steadily lessens over time after a breakup. When that doesn't happen as quickly as expected, they're surprised by the intensity remaining. Your psyche needs periodic breaks. The human brain can't tolerate constant, acute emotional pain. Waves are your psyche's way of taking respites to recharge before plunging back in. The mind processes heartbreak by cycling through periods of numbness and acute sadness. Neither constant agony nor denial would allow healing. Trust this organic process.
How to manage the roller coaster of emotions after a breakup.
Navigating the turbulent sea of shifting emotions post-breakup requires resilience and self-compassion. Here are some ways to smooth the ride. Give yourself permission to feel it all. Let your emotions flow freely without judgment or repression. Sadness, anger, hope, grief. It's all allowed during this turbulent time. Practice conscious breathing. When emotions intensify, take long, deep breaths. Activating the parasympathetic nervous system restores equilibrium. Limit time spent ruminating. Obsessively analyzing the relationship leads nowhere positive. When caught in thought loops, gently redirect your mind. Release tension creatively. Writing, dancing, singing, drawing, discharge built-up feelings through cathartic creative activity. Structure your time. Stay busy with routines around self-care, work, and socializing. Too much empty time allows emotions to engulf you. Process with a trusted friend. Venting, reflecting, and getting validation from someone compassionate helps you digest swirling emotions. Separate distorted thoughts from feelings. When negativity or harsh judgments arise, address them rather than believing they reflect an absolute truth about you. Your faith in your resilience will grow each time you ride out the ups and downs. Emotions arise and pass through you like waves if you let them.
How to handle the first days after a breakup. When the pain is most acute.
The initial weeks post-breakup often feel unbearable. Here are coping strategies to help you through the roughest patch. Surround yourself with support. Don't isolate. Spending time amongst loving family and friends who envelop you in compassion is critical. Allow yourself to fully feel the loss. Grief needs total expression without censorship. Cry extensively, vent rage, let the feelings flow through you. Establish a daily routine. Sticking to routines around sleep, nutrition, exercise, hygiene, and work hobby time will provide stability amid the chaos. Limit contact with your ex. It's natural to crave their presence for comfort when distressed, but proximity will likely exacerbate pining for them. Avoid it. Make no major decisions. With emotions running high and judgment compromised, avoid big life changes like moving or changing jobs unless absolutely needed. Take excellent care of your body. Nourish and hydrate yourself nutrient-rich foods, minimize substances, move your body daily, and get sufficient rest. Find healthy distractions. When not productively processing feelings, stay busy and distracted with fulfilling work, socializing, and hobby activities. The acute pain phase will pass. Right now, be extra gentle with yourself. Keep up essential self-care routines and give your feelings space to unfold.
What is the best way to handle a breakup ethically?
Ending relationships with care and integrity prevents unnecessary harm. Here are principles for handling breakups ethically. Be direct. Once fully decided, quickly inform them it's over. False hope is unkind. Delivering the news gently but unambiguously minimizes confusion. Explain your truth. Tell them plainly what led to your decision. Needing more intimacy, poor conflict resolution, different visions for life, etc. Speculation is avoided by clarity. Keep it impersonal. Criticisms or blaming make things messier. Focus just on your experience of the issues, rather than attacking their character. Give them space. State firmly you believe total separation for a substantial period is healthiest. Follow through in not contacting them. Absence helps the broken bond dissolve. Show compassion. This causes pain too. Sincerely acknowledging that honors the depth of their feelings, even if ending is right for you both. Move them along. Gently. If they bargain to stay together, reiterate your stance is final rather than prolonging the breakup talks. Decisiveness prevents false hope. Provide emotional closure. Once the dust settles, a final conversation summing up the relationship can provide reassuring perspective. What you appreciated, lessons learned. Limbic attachments cause us to resist losing lovers, even when mentally we know it's for the best. Minimize harm by handling endings thoughtfully and compassionately.
Why does the pain from heartbreak linger so long after a breakup?
To the brokenhearted, it's devastating how grief persists relentlessly, despite intellectually knowing life will go on. Why does the pain linger so stubbornly? Your brain perceives it as a primal threat. On an evolutionary level, rejection activates a profound panic response. Your primal safety system fixates on the loss of your attachment figure. Love is a powerful brain stimulant. Euphoric neurochemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin plummet post-breakup, creating withdrawal-like symptoms. The brain struggles regulating itself. You lost your primary attachment figure. Humans thrive when bonded securely. Losing your primary source of comfort, safe harbor, and nurturing destabilizes your nervous system. Your sense of self is disrupted. Losing a partner means shedding aspects of your identity incorporated from the relationship. Rebuilding who you are now takes time. The memories linger. Even once out of love, it's hard deleting someone who has been intricately woven into your life story. They're still so intertwined in your memories. There is no closure. Without concrete reasons like betrayal or falling out of love, The mind fixates trying to understand why the relationship had to end. This stalls acceptance. You feel unable to regulate your emotions. Breakups strip away a primary coping mechanism who helped you feel emotionally regulated in their presence. Alone, your emotions can feel unbearably amplified. Heartbreak lingers because primal instincts resist severing attachment bonds. Be patient and tender with yourself as your psyche slowly accepts the loss in its own timeline.
Why is it so hard to bounce back from a breakup compared to my ex?
It's agonizingly unfair watching your ex appear to get over the relationship far faster than you. Why does your recovery lag behind? They may be avoiding their feelings. Exes numbing sadness through rebounds, socializing, travel, and overwork delay processing the loss. Their demons will eventually resurface. They have less attachment. Research confirms the less attached partner experiences less emotional upheaval. The more invested party naturally hurts more acutely. They're protecting their pride. Even if hurting, your ex likely wants to appear strong. Their over-the-top social media cheer may be exaggerated bravado masking inner pain. It's a rebound, not recovery. Diving into dating again quickly prevents true healing. Your ex may be distracting themselves from grieving rather than truly recovering. It was a less meaningful relationship. If the connection lacked substance, intimacy, friendship, and fulfillment, there's less to deeply miss when it ends. You have greater empathy. You likely consider their experience and heartbreak too. People pleasers obsess over an ex's pain. Narcissists move on quickly with less guilt. Comparison destroys self-esteem. Seeing them thrive on social media fuels assumption they're happier without you. This kicks you when you're down. Limit exposure. Your ex's recovery timeline is not a reflection of your worth or lovability. Avoid comparing. Focus inward on grieving fully so you can truly heal.
How to know when you're ready to start dating again after a bad breakup.
As your heart mends, you eventually think about meeting someone new. How soon is too soon? Here's how to know you're truly ready. You've made peace with what happened. Can you reflect objectively on the relationship's ups and downs without high emotion or blame? Being at peace is key. You've gained insight. Time and perspective should reveal lessons learned and new wisdom to prevent repetition of past relationship patterns. You don't idealize them anymore. Seeing your ex accurately without minimizing flaws or exaggerating virtues shows you've overcome fantasy. Reality is required for healthy dating. You've addressed your own issues. It's critical to identify and work through any of your own emotional challenges or unhealthy dynamics requiring growth before involving another heart. You're comfortable alone. Craving companionship should not be your primary motivator. You must be fulfilled independently first. Desperation creates poor choices. Friends confirm you seem ready. If multiple people who care about you attest you appear open, healed, and emotionally available, listen to that insightful feedback. You have relationship vision. Time alone should help you gain clarity on what you truly want and need in a compatible partner for the long haul. Get very specific. Before involving another person, be 100% certain you've done personal work first and are ready to show up fully. Your own heart deserves that care.
How to stop unhealthy habits after a breakup, like texting your ex.
When emotional injuries are raw, it's easy slipping back into old patterns that delay healing. Here's how to stop relapse behavior. Remove easy access points. Delete their number, give exchanged items back, unfollow them on social media so you can't reach them during moments of weakness. Have an accountability partner. Choose a friend who will talk sense into you when the urge to text or call hits. Vent to them instead of your ex. Play the tape forward. Before taking the addictive hit of contacting them, clearly imagine how doing so will likely make you feel afterward. Ashamed, hurt again, further from recovery. Remove triggers, gifts, music, photos, etc. Prolong pining. Box these away until you have more distance. Destroy things evoking intense nostalgia. Stay ultra busy. Unstructured time presents temptation. Make detailed self-care plans ensuring your schedule stays full and productive. Delay right away. Urges peak around 15 minutes before fading. Every time impulse strikes, force yourself to wait 15 minutes before deciding how to act. Old habits rooted in addiction die hard. But each small victory resisting temptation strengthens your self-discipline and brings you closer to freedom.
Am I normal for feeling numb and not missing my ex at all after a breakup?
It's common to feel strangely indifferent towards an ex in the immediate aftermath of a breakup. You're not heartless. Here's why it happens. You're in shock. Major loss often produces initial numbness while your psyche protectively suppresses intense emotions from fully registering yet. The relationship lost its luster. Over time, the starry-eyed magic faded as you came back down to earth. With the fantasy dispelled, you're left feeling pragmatic. You're hyper-focusing on logistics. When preoccupied with the practical details of uncoupling, the mind avoids preoccupied with emotional pain comes later. You detached before it ended. If the relationship had been fizzling, you may have already actively grieved its loss prior to the formal ending. Anger is overriding other feelings. If hurt or betrayal are prominent, bitterness may temporarily dominate where wistfulness would normally arise. It wasn't meeting your core needs. If the relationship lacked real intimacy, mutual fulfillment, and emotional connection, you don't miss it once it's over. There was little substance to mourn. You have an avoidant attachment style. Some instinctively protect themselves from painful feelings through emotional distance and repression. This causes initial numbness. You're in the denial stage. Early denial prevents you from yet processing the full implications of the loss. Numbness acts as a temporary buffer before deeper grief surfaces. Your focus is on other negative feelings. While not missing them, you may feel completely preoccupied with anger, confusion, depression, or resentment about how things ended. Time has not passed. It takes the human psyche weeks or months to fully register the loss on an emotional level. Numbness early on is the brain's shock response. The absence of initial acute grief post-breakup is a normal self-protective reaction, but deeper feelings often emerge with time. Keep checking in with yourself.
Why do breakups trigger such powerful feelings of rejection?
Feeling discarded after a breakup is viscerally devastating, but the intensity reveals more about our inner world than outer reality. Here's why it hurts so much. Your brain perceives it as social exile. On a primal level, being left activates an evolutionary panic about being ejected from the tribe and left to perish. We're wired for this exaggerated response. Abandonment harkens back to childhood. Early heartbreaks around emotional neglect or the loss of a parent are often subconsciously reignited, making rejection feel catastrophic now. We link lovability to being chosen. Feeling wanted and chosen by someone is intimately tied to our sense of worth. When rejected, our core self-esteem plummets. We have an external locus of control. Relying heavily on others for validation causes breakups to feel like referendums on our lovability. In truth, it reveals more about the leaver's limitations. We feel wronged by injustice. When someone leaves abruptly or for reasons that seem unfair, it offends our sense of justice. We protest being subjected to undeserved pain. We judge ourselves harshly. Our inner critic capitalizes on rejection as evidence of our deficiencies. But insecurity does not reflect the truth about who we are. We're letting childhood wounds run the show. Unhealed emotional injuries from youth cause us to interpret abandonment now through the lens of devastation we experienced then. Reframe rejection as an opportunity to shore up your self-worth from within rather than needing validation through being chosen. You are inherently precious. How to healthily cope with feeling replaced after your ex moved on quickly. Few things sting like an ex leaping into a new relationship soon after your breakup. Here are healthy coping strategies. Remind yourself it's not a value judgment. While painful, their readiness to replace you is not actually a reflection of your worth. Focus on self-validation rather than letting their actions define you. Get distance from their social media. Seeing constant updates about their new partner re-traumatizes you. Block them everywhere. Comparisons prolong your agony. Objectively, assess the relationship. Was this person meeting your needs? Did you feel fulfilled, respected, and cared for? Chances are their new romance will struggle with the same issues. List your deal breakers. Make a list of the core needs that ultimately weren't met in the relationship: affection, intimacy, support, etc. Accept you deserve these. Let yourself feel anger. Anger helps counteract hurt. Vent outrage about how disloyally and unethically they conducted themselves. You have a right to feel angry about their actions. Get accountability and comfort from friends. Seek extra companionship and reality checks from trusted friends. They'll remind you of your worth and that you were treated poorly. Process childhood sources of abandonment. Pain. Old wounds around neglect or cheating parents being reignited? Address where these deeper issues originated. You deserved loyal love. The problem was the relationship, not you. Still, seeing yourself through their eyes disables you from recognizing your value. Ground yourself in truth.
Should I try being friends with my ex after our breakup?
Becoming platonic friends soon after a serious relationship ends often backfires. Here's when friendship may work. The romance faded. Long ago. If passion fizzled out years prior and you've long settled into a calm, companionable rapport, friendship may organically form post-breakup. It was a mutual, amicable split. If you're both at peace with the amicable demise of a relationship lacking chemistry or passion, transitioning to friendship can flow naturally without lingering romantic attachments. The romantic relationship was brief. Becoming comrades after parting ways soon into dating is often organic before deep limbic bonds formed. Better to separate quickly when compatibility is clearly lacking. You share important friendships or family. If your lives are entangled through deep mutual friendships or family ties, remaining cordial is wise. Shared connections make avoiding each other impossible. You have fully detached romantically. Remaining in contact requires both parties feeling 100% emotionally neutral towards each other. Even subtle, lingering attachments on either side destabilize the platonic dynamic. However, post-breakup friendships often crumble when one person can't let go of romantic fantasies. You need distance to gain perspective. Pain, resentment, or betrayal linger. Boundaries get blurred. Comparisons to their dating life feels unbearable. You rely too heavily on them for emotional support. Ultimately, keeping the door open to friendship down the road may feel hopeful, but make sure you've each truly moved on first before testing the waters. Going through a breakup is one of life's most painful challenges. Whether the relationship was healthy or toxic, our deepest selves are shaken when bonds sever. Know you're not alone in this universal human experience. What's been shared here reflects wisdom collected from those who have survived heartbreak and emerged wiser as guides. May their perspectives bring you comfort and direction during the hard days ahead. Have compassion for all you're feeling and experiencing in the journey to come. This too shall pass, and soon you'll be in a position to pass the torch and be a beacon for others finding their way through love's losses in the future. I welcome you to share your breakup story and any lessons learned in the comments. This will create an even richer community resource so we can keep learning from each other. Wishing you much healing and peace.